when I came here in 2006, in January, we were recruiting players on the basis of a dream. If you build it, they will come. And I always said to them, imagine there's a stadium out there. That's what's going to happen. Well, now, obviously, when we bring them up here on campus, they're able to see the stadium. So it's huge in terms of being able to show them, and it also shows the commitment that the administration that the college has for our football program. Well, Chuck Noll was an icon in football coaching, and me as a younger coach in the late 70s when he took over for the Steelers, I saw all the success he had, and I used to say, I want to be like him. I like the way he conducts himself. I like the way he approaches his job in a professional manner. Yet I also liked what I heard about him. I never met the man, but I liked what I heard about him, his character, his intelligence, his interest in other things beyond football. And it's an honor for me to be on that field and have some, at least, association with Chuck Noll. I hope that we can build teams that were in the mold that Chuck Noll built the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think because the field is named after Chuck Noll, there's going to be somewhat of an education process because so many of our players weren't born. So it's an education, and it also provides somewhat of a history of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they'll learn about who Chuck Noll was, not only as a football coach, but who he was as a man, his values, his character, and the way he treated his players and the people. He was an icon in our coaching profession. And once our players learn who he is, and it's our job to educate, who is Chuck Noll? What did he do? Why is this field named after him? I think that they'll understand then the value of having that name on their home field.
Welcome to Chuck Noll Field at Saint Vincent College, home of the Bearcats and summer home of the Pittsburgh Steelers. It is my honor to make some introductions. On the dais, Archabbot Douglas Nowicki, Chancellor of Saint Vincent College. Jim Toohey, President of Saint Vincent College. Coach Bob Colbert, Head Coach of the Saint Vincent Bearcats. And our distinguished guests, Dan Rooney, Chairman of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and National Football League Hall of Fame year 2000. Art Rooney II, President of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Art Rooney Jr., Vice President of the Pittsburgh Steelers, distinguished alumnus of Saint Vincent College, 1957. Celebrating 50th class reunion this year, and member of the Saint Vincent College Bearcat football squad. John Rooney, with a special message from the man we honor today, Coach Chuck Noll. Coach Mike Tomlin, head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're pleased to welcome also Bill Nunn. This legendary Steelers scout is entering his 40th season with the team. He helped discover some of the greatest players of the team's history. Dick Hoke, this Western Pennsylvania native. This Western Pennsylvania native had a 10-year playing career, 1961 to 1970, with the Steelers and served as coach for 35 years. 1972 until 2006. He has the distinction of having been a Steeler for 742 of the franchise's 1,057 games. Louis Lips, one of the greatest receivers in the team's history. Louis played wide receiver for the Steelers from 1984 until 1991. Tunch Ilkin. Tunch played with the Steelers 1980 to 1992 as an offensive tackle. And now, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jim Toohey, our president.
Thank you very much, Father Paul, and welcome to all of you. Welcome to our distinguished guests here on the dais and to each one of you. Whenever we have a big event here on our campus at Saint Vincent, we ask the Benedictine monks to pray for good weather so it doesn't rain. They could have been a little more specific with God, but we'll settle very much for this beautiful day. I simply want to say my wife and I and our 5 children, when we came here a year ago, joined ourselves to 161 years of Benedictine tradition at Saint Vincent College, a tradition that stretches back to the 5th century in St. Benedict. But woven into that tradition here on our campus has been 75 years of Steelers football. We have our monks, who we call our men in black, and we're happy to welcome the men in black and gold every summer here to our campus. And there's been a steady succession of giants in the Steelers organization, clearly led by the Rooney family, represented here today and in heaven, as well as by a procession of greatness that Coach Tomlin has joined and will continue. And one of the custodians of this greatness was Coach Chuck Noll. When I come to my office every morning and park across from this field, I see this wonderful tribute to Chuck Noll. And I want to say that on behalf of the college and on behalf of our students and our Bearcat football players in particular, we want to welcome you to our campus for this dedication. Each one of you is forever joined to the proud history of our Benedictines and the Steelers. Thank you very much.
Please welcome Mr. Art Rooney II.
Art Jabbett Douglas and President Toohey and ladies and gentlemen, this is a special year in Steeler football history, and tonight is a very special occasion. 38 years ago on this field, Chuck Noll began a journey that changed the course of the Steeler franchise. Prior to Chuck's arrival, the Steelers were known mostly as a tough team that always found a way to lose. I was here in camp that first year, and those of us who had been around the old Steeler way quickly recognized that things were going to change under Chuck Noll. He brought a new discipline and a sense of commitment to winning that we were not accustomed to. To be honest, my first feelings about Chuck Noll, and I think the feelings of most of the players who were in camp that year, was fear. Chuck did not tolerate anything less from the people around him than the same fierce commitment to winning that he had. No distractions, no wavering from the path that led to winning a championship. Of course, that first camp at Saint Vincent, fear began to turn to respect, and then to a shared commitment and to a common bond. But still, in that summer of 1969, none of us knew there would be 23 more years of Chuck's commitment to winning, every summer. Chuck's successor, Bill Cowher, often remarked that we have high standards around here. Chuck Noll set those standards. As a coach, Chuck did not waste many words. He was not given for long pregame pep talks. He believed that the preparations that took place on the practice fields were the key to victory. That is why it's so fitting that we stand here this evening and dedicate and bless this field in Chuck's name. I know Chuck wishes he could be here with us this evening, but I know he will enjoy hearing about this evening's event. So on behalf of the Rooney family, the entire Steeler family, I want to say thanks to Arch Abbot Douglas Nowicki, to President Jim Toohey, to the entire Saint Vincent community for helping to make this day happen. I also want to wish the Saint Vincent football program much success, and I want to wish our two first-year head coaches here, Bob Colbert and Mike Tomlin, much success. And now I'd like to ask my father and my Uncle Art to come up and present something to Arch Abbot Douglas and Jim Toohey that will be hung in the great new press box up there.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. John Rooney.
Thank you, Father Paul. First, it's a great honor for me to be asked by the Knolls to represent them at today's ceremony. I spoke to Mrs. Knoll last week, and the first words of her mouth were, "It's a very short speech that I have to give." So Chuck's words, as my brother Art said, are, he's very to the point. I'll start with his statement. Saint Vincent has been a very special place for the Steelers since 1968. The great facilities, the hospitality, and the people made it ideal for us to prepare for the football season. It is the perfect summer home. The success we have enjoyed started here. We worked hard here, but we also had a lot of fun. I personally have had very pleasant memories of Saint Vincent. The highlight was when I had the opportunity to conduct the Pittsburgh Symphony Orchestra here. I'm very touched and appreciative of this honor. Thank you very much, Chuck Noll.
Arch Abbot Douglas Nowicki.
I too received a message from Mr. Knoll, and his message was, keep it short. I want to thank John for that wonderful message on behalf of Chuck Noll and his family. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a great pleasure for me to welcome all of you to St. Vincent for this dedication of the Chuck Noll Field today. It's a special joy to be able to welcome Pat and Dan Rooney, Kay and Art Rooney Jr., Greta and Art II, and all the Rooney family, Coach Tomlin, the coaches, Steelers staff, and the Steelers organizations, the fans, the guests, and friends all who join us this afternoon. As we gather today, we also remember in a special way the threefold legacy of Art Rooney Sr., family, faith, and football. We thank the Rooney and the Pittsburgh Steelers organization who continue to embody that great legacy in their lives. Today we dedicate this field and grandstand in honor of Chuck Noll, the former Pittsburgh Steelers coach. We pay tribute to Chuck Noll and his leadership as coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers from 1969 to 1991. We celebrate the great Super Bowl victories in 74, 75, 78, 79, and his recognition as Coach of the Year in 1989, and the many other ways in which he reflected his success as coach, namely through his faith and through the love of his family. We also celebrate today Chuck Noll as an exceptional human being and a great role model for those who coached him and were inspired by his life. Joe Green, Terry Bradshaw, Franco Harris, Rocky Bleier, Lynn Swan, Jack Lambert, Mike Webster, John Stallworth, and of course we remember in a very special way today the great Steel Curtain. Elsie Greenwood, Joe Green, Ernie Holmes, Steve Furness, Dwight White, Jack Ham, Jack Lambert, Andy Russell, Lauren Toes, Melvin Blunt, J.D. Thomas, Glenn Edwards, Donnie Shell, Mike Wagner, and the many other players who over the years were inspired by the opportunity to work so closely with Coach Noll. The recently published autobiography of Tony Dungy, entitled Quiet Strength, speaks of the important role which Chuck Noll played in his life. Tony Dungy quotes Coach Noll on almost every page of his autobiography. Some of the more memorable quotes of Coach Noll are, "Champions are champions not because they do anything extraordinary, but because they do ordinary things better than anyone else. I would rather play well and lose than play poorly and win. Leaving the game plan is a sign of panic, and panic is not our game plan. Football is not your life's work." And finally, some coaches pray for wisdom. I pray for 260-pound tackles. They'll give me plenty of wisdom. Let us now for a moment give thanks for Chuck Noll and for all those who personally inspire us each day, give us hope and strength as we face the challenges of our life, recognizing that the ultimate coach for all of us is the Lord himself. Let us now bow our heads in prayer. Dear God, we acknowledge your infinite glory and the abundance of your many gifts. Before the foundation of the world, you appointed your Son, Jesus Christ, as the beginning and the end of all things. We thank you today in a special way for the gifts and talents of Coach Chuck Noll, whom we honor with this dedication of this grandstand and field in his name. May those who use this field, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Saint Vincent Bearcats, and all other athletes, find comfort and strength through your ever-abiding presence and through the inspiration of the life and legacy of Chuck Noll. Lord, you rule over all things with wonderful order. You temper the cares and burdens of our toil, and by giving us rest and healthy recreation, you refresh our weary bodies and minds. We ask you to bless this new field, the Chuck Noll Grandstand and Field at Saint Vincent College, that it may contribute to athletic and leisure activities that renew and strengthen mind and body. Grant that all who meet here may find the enrichment of friendship and joyful hearts. We ask this through Christ our Lord. Thank you.
Thank you, Archabbot Douglas. It is now my pleasure to present to you the 2007 Pittsburgh Steelers.
Well, it's a special day for the Steelers, a special day for Saint Vincent, and something that I think in Chuck's case was a long overdue recognition, and so it's just wonderful that the people at St. Vincent's did this, and just very grateful.
How's it feel coming back to St. Vincent year after year?
It's wonderful. I look forward to every summer here, and you know, I'm not like the players. When camp's over, they're happy. I'm kind of sad every year when camp's over because you know, it means it'll be a whole year before I get back here. So it's a special place for me, and love coming here every year.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Bye.